Welcome back to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm Megan Robinson, joined now by one of our friends from Stats Performing the Analyst, Craig Haley. Craig, great slate of college football this weekend, including our game of the week, Sacramento State heading to third-ranked South Dakota State in a top 25 FCS matchup. I'll have you pick this game at the end, but first, what impact can the outcome of this matchup have on the playoff picture come November, December?
It's huge, Megan. I mean, you think about it. I mean, Sacramento State with all the transfers, it should be a quick turnaround from last year. They're looking to have a banner season and to make that jump into a seeded kind of team. And this is how you do it. I mean, you're going to be facing tough teams every week in the Big Sky, but to beat a South Dakota State, a two-time champion in 22 and 23 seasons, I mean, that's like an FBS win to win a game like this on the road. So I think it is huge for both teams to get this win.
What will be the keys to a Sacramento State victory in this game?
I like that Sac State has, a deep running back stable, because the way the Jackrabbits, South Dakota State has, built up their program is on the two lines, offense and defensive line. So the fact that Sac State can really, pound the run with the transfer running backs that they have, I just think that's the key here.
Again, I'll get to your game pick on this at the end of the show, saving it our game of the week. We'll start with Eastern Washington. They're heading to San Antonio this weekend to face Incarnate Word. Incarnate Word coming off that upset loss to Nicholls week 0. Can the Eagles make it back-to-back upset losses for Incarnate Word?
This game feels so different than a week ago because, UIW Incarnate Word really had a lousy start by losing to Nicholls, not even scoring a touchdown. I think Eastern Washington, the closer we get to the season, I feel a little bit better about the Eagles. I mean, Jared Taylor is going to be a dual threat. He has some weapons and, Dotson and Ulm. I feel like their defense will be improved for what they have back. So it feels like a different game than a week ago. We know that it's going to be all, a track meet, but I think the Eagles really should feel a lot better going into this one.
Our second game of the week for picks, Idaho State. They put up 555 yards of offense last week against FBS opponent UNLV. They take on future Big Sky member Southern Utah on Saturday. Can Idaho State get it done?
Of course. I mean, they did beat the Thunderbirds last year. I mean, Cody Hawkins had some nice wins. His team had some nice wins last year. Certainly you have a chance here because Southern Utah was, Tarji Lamson, they relied on so much last year, the FCS leader in rushing per game. So I give Idaho State a chance for sure.
UC Davis played week 0. However, it was declared a no contest after storms rolled in the fourth quarter. So they officially begin their season this week at Utah Tech, another Big Sky member starting in 2026. Who are you taking in the Utah Tech UC Davis?
I think you have to like UC Davis. You could point to Caden Pinnock really looking strong in his first start at quarterback. He utilized his weapons. He ran the ball. We know about the Connors brothers. I mean, Rex is, off to just a fabulous start in that game. So I do think it should be a win here. Utah Tech gave up, a lot of points last year. There, a lot of run yards on the ground. I just think UC Davis's firepower behind Caden Pinnock will get the job done.
Finally, our game of the week, 15th ranked Sacramento State heading to South Dakota to take on 3rd ranked South Dakota State. Will Brennan Marion start his career as a head coach 1-0?
I think it's a close game. I hope it comes down to the end. I'd probably pick South Dakota State being home with 29 straight wins. I think the key for Sac State here is to learn from UIW. They had a lot of transfers, not as many as Sacramento State, but they had a lot, and they did not gel as a unit last week. I think that's the lesson here for the Hornets to, come out early, establish themselves, rely on each other, and really set the tone, take it away from South Dakota State, which has just been a really physical team that gets the job done week after week. So, yeah, I just think Sac State needs to learn from what they saw in Incarnate Word last week.
Well, Craig, thank you so much for your insight. I really appreciate it, and enjoy week 1 of college football.
You too, Megan. I hope the Big Sky has a banner season.
It's another top 25 matchup for a Big Sky school this weekend. Will the Hornets leave Brookings with a W? We'll see on Saturday. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of This Week in Big Sky Football. Once again, I'm Megan Robinson, and I'll see you all next week.